Oh, hello there. Welcome to what should be Sonic Mania. You can just call me Stent. I will admit this is not how I wanted this to start off, but admittedly, joining my channel, thanks a bunch. But yeah, admittedly I've been having a fair bit of issue trying to work this game off with alt tapping, so we'll just try putting it into full screen and see if it works. Just see how that looks now. Just give it a little sec for the stream to catch up. Please don't be alarmed by the lack of music. Just didn't want that to interrupt with overlap with recorded music. At least I'm certainly hoping that it's actually working. Hold up. Hold up. Have I done this incorrectly again? Doesn't look like it. Not exactly how I wanted this to go, to be perfectly honest. We can wait. I don't like us to properly go underway though, because we have a fair bit to go through. Got the bottom high quality, kind of stuck with good editing programs since they got. Oh, that's good to know. That's good to know with regards to editing software, I'm presuming. Why is this not working now? It was working earlier. I don't really get it. Ugh. Yeah, the game seems to be working fine on my end. It's just capture specific windows, Sonic Mania. What is going on here? I'm just gonna put it in full screen again real quick, see if that works. Otherwise, I'm probably gonna have to postpone the stream and maybe do something else, because I want to just jump right into the game, and now the game is not letting me jump right into it. I'll have a look in the options real quick, see if there's anything in there which is messing me up. Let's put some more music on, actually. Let me just bring it back up so we are just sitting here in awkward silence. Let's put that back to the beginning. It's like we never left. What is going on with this? Because on my end it's not showing anything. Same type. Can you believe it? Sonic is back. I'll believe it when I see it. Let me try window capture, actually. See if that works. There we go. There we go. Got there in the end. Just gotta awkwardly shift this around. Get rid of that. And put that back over there. Put that up there. There we go. A little bit of an awkward start, but we got there eventually. Only took us about 5 minutes, so yeah, good old Sonic Mania. We'll just be going with the regular Sonic Mania, not the Encore mode, just so we don't have to worry too much about that. Admittedly, I do have a lot less experience with Encore mode, which is mainly why I decided just to opt for Mania this time. Alright, with that, let's finally bring the actual audio back up, because it was sort of driving me mad earlier, and get right into it. We're just gonna be going for... Let's just go for the new game with Sonic and Tails. Oh gee, doesn't this look familiar? You do remember Sonic 3, don't you? I certainly do. Also, don't mind the fact that it looks a little bit more retro than it does. I do have a reshade filter on this, just so it looks a little bit more to my liking. Oh, what could this possibly be? Definitely not something that's going to tank the next big Sonic game, surely, in the context of this bit coming out in 2017. This game is already like 7 years old. Anyways, here we go. Just making our way through good old Sonic Mania. Not seeing anything wrong here. Definitely nothing wrong here. Oh yes, he did see that. Good to know, just wasn't sure how big I should be pushing that, to be brutally honest with you, considering YouTube probably doesn't like that sort of stuff. And here we are, of course, just in Green Hell again, because everybody knows that the only level that ever existed in Sonic was Green Hill Zone. I want to go down here, actually. I think the first special stage is down here. I did admittedly put on a couple of mods, mostly just so I could have all of Sonic's abilities on tap, like the Super Peel Out, the Drop Dash, and the Insta Shield, because after playing Angel Island Revisited, like, it just feels too nice to have all three. Oh dear. I was just gonna say, these are probably my favorite special stages, and now we have to get out of here as quickly as possible. Lest we be completely blighted with cursed music. I very nearly timed over that. That would have been embarrassing. So yeah. With regards to Sonic Mania's announcement, I suppose, it was definitely one of the things that really brought me back to the series. As I'm sure it did a lot of people, because I was definitely a fair bit jaded after Lost World and Boom, and this... Same with my YouTube... Yeah, I figured. As we just go through here with our perfectly normal Sonic game. With incredibly normal music and incredibly normal collectibles. Please ignore anything on... Yes, Totinos Pizza Rolls, which indeed sponsor... Alright, I may as well get the joke out of the way. Yes, I did put the Totinos mod on intentionally. Mostly because I thought it would be funny. How did you know? The joke, of course, going back to the infamously disastrous 25th anniversary celebration at which Mania, I believe, was announced slash properly shown off to the wider world, and of course, beyond being a technical difficulties nightmare, the most infamous thing to come out of that was the cross-promotion with Totinos Pizza Rolls, which was awkwardly ham-fisted in to much hilarious effect. To the point where now, Sonic Mania and Totinos, for me at least, are now inseparable. Not helped at all by this entire soundtrack mod. Totinos, how did you know? Totinos. It doesn't help at all that the Totinos music here is actually quite a bit of an earworm. Unlike this. Oh boy. I sure do love discount parody Jake Paul. Or is it Logan Paul? I hardly keep up with a lot of this whole sort of YouTuber drama, so forgive me if I end up mixing the two. Dang it, I missed it. It's gonna be quite awkward if I actually end up missing a couple of these, because I have done this at least a fair few times, so... Unlike with Encore mode, I actually have an idea as to what I'm doing. I do kind of feel bad I'm not doing this on an entirely fresh save, because I would have wanted to show off the blue spheres as well, because, of course, they added in the originally best special stages as well here. There we go. Just like when Sonic voiced Adam. Oh yeah, Roger did do that. The stuffed crust pizza, only at Pizza Hut, Hooba Dooba. Yes, I do recall that. From what I recall, there's like a free... Yeah, I'm fairly certain there's free special stage rings in this particular stage. Masterfully done. I'm just gonna go back here real quick. I don't think I can stress enough how much I really love a lot of the small interactions you got in this game. Like, obviously, the fire shield interacting with the infamous spiked fawn bridges here, just completely tearing them apart. So this game actually has attention to detail put into it, unlike Forces. How's my day been? Tiring. Mostly just getting back into the swing of things, really, and... Yep. I know you're in there. I've played through this game before. You can probably tell. I really do like the aesthetic of this particular special stage, in particular. Just... very... It's the most vaporwave special stage I think I've ever seen, with all these non-Euclidean rings and objects in the background, like some sort of weird pyramid. So I'm just getting a... I can't really help it with just the Scooby-Doo-esque munching sound whenever you collect a pizza roll. Anybody want a pizza roll? If you email me on this website, I'll hand you a pizza roll in the mail. Yeah, admittedly, I've never actually had pizza rolls, unfortunately, so my main experience with pizza rolls is, of course, all the various Mr. Plinkett reviews. Well, I'm certainly looking forward to it when it's, is finished. Feel free to take your time, though. Alright, this is gonna be fairly awkward. Never mind. Just trying to remember how to get up top from here. I suspect it's, You know what, Tails? You're here. I can just abuse you to, completely negate the level design. Admittedly, on my first playthrough of Mania, I did think that Tails was... Yes. I did think that Tails was weirdly more aggressive than usual, especially against some of the bosses. Only had them one at a time, it was good at its time. Yes. I've also seen videos in, like, the ancient YouTube past of people doing, like, pizza roll challenges, I think, just seeing how many, I suppose, how quickly you could dust off a set amount of pizza. I don't remember, I just remember, the said participants being, let's just say, spherical in nature. I think that's a, polite way of putting it. I mean, I say that, it probably isn't. When they walk, the ocean ripples. And it's saying that I wouldn't mind at the very least trying one pizza roll. I suppose it would be a case, at the very least, of once is enough. Guess it depends on how good the pizza roll is, though. Honestly, the more I hear of this, the more I just want to stick my head in an oven. Get over here already. Quickly, please, the music must end. Come on! In the nick of time! How many pizza rolls can you eat? I don't know. I suspect there's probably be a few. Knowing me. I mean, then again, I have, then again, I say that, but bunnies usually are scared of pizza. Too many unfamiliar alien ingredients. Oh, gee willikers, it's the Deaf Egg robot from Sonic 2, but he's the first boss instead of the final boss. How novel is that? I swear, how many times, I swear, I've heard people go on about that so many times. That's it. Except I imagine this would be a fair bit harder if he still had his missile fists. Well, that reminds me, I probably have to clean through my scraps now that I'm thinking about it. It has been a little bit. What is it? Go on, Tails. You're usually quite aggressive in this fight. Well, you know, I could just do that and just immediately just go behind you and just cheese this whole thing. Come on. There we go. Already off to a good start. Personal Sonic theory I have is depending on how dark the Doctor's glass are determines how serious the plot is. I mean, I suppose that's a good enough theory. That being said, we'll have to look at Eggman's 06 design again, see how dark his glasses are there. And then again, you do see his eyes in 06, so not certain how much that counts. Oh boy, it's the only other Sonic level that has ever existed. There's no other Sonic levels that exist aside from Green Hill and Chemical Plant, according to Super Mario Kishimoto. I wasn't sure as to whether I wanted to save this for later, but yeah. Needless to say, with regards to Kishimoto, who I know has gotten a fair bit more favor with fans after Frontiers, I'm not really buying it personally. Dang it! Nope, we're doing that again. I want to get that. I want to get that ring. It even starts the same as the original Chemical Plant as well. With Totinos. Oh, masterfully done. But yeah, Super Mario Kishimoto, I mostly call him that because I feel with games like Lost World, he'd rather be working on Super Mario. I don't really see much of a reason to give him benefit of the doubt at this point. Sure, he may have salvaged Frontiers, but his track record aside from Frontiers, he's only really directed one good game from what I recall, that being Colors. In terms of directors, directing credits, he's only ever done Colors, Lost World, Forces, and Frontiers, which... Sure, Colors must count for something, but... in my mind, that's like 1 out of 4 good games. We need to get out of here as soon as possible. I think this might be the most cursed music in the entire mod. I'm just gonna put that out there. Like, there's a lot of cursed stuff in here, but this is, like... comparatively, everything else, soundtrack-wise, here is minor hexes compared to this. No ketchup on your pizza rolls. It's like to included the one zone Can't believe Sega made Sonic 2 and only included one zone in the game. Yeah, strange, isn't it? I could have sworn there were more levels in Sonic 2, but I guess not. The background music is the background music is normal. What are you talking about? It's totally normal. It's totally normal. Okay, from what I recall, there's another ring down at the bottom here. Gonna have to manage to avoid drowning. There we go. If it's any consolation, we'll only have to hear this like a couple more times, and then we'll never have to hear it throughout the rest of the stream. I mean, I say that I was planning on doing a Knuckles stream as well next week. Plan was to do this, then Knuckles and Knuckles Mania, then finally move on to Chronicles. It has been a while since I played Chronicles, so kind of looking forward to it, actually. Seeing if it really was as bad as people make it out to be. Whereas this, I mean, it's obvious. This is probably the, this is probably going to be a bit spicy, but honestly, I would probably say, at least on paper, this is the best of the classic Sonic games. Because you got all this stuff on it for like $20. 20 of your America coins. Compare that to, say, Sonic 3, where you only got the first half of the game for, I think, Genesis games back then were like 40, not adjusting for inflation. So in order to get the full Sonic 3 experience, you had to basically buy 2 games, whereas here you get a roughly equal amount of stuff in the game to do for a fraction of the price. I know that's usually not a factor people take into account, but I feel it must count for something, especially for someone who wants to get into the series. I'm going to say that Origins Collection is also a thing, but at the same time I'm pretty sure that's also more expensive. Yeah, I think I've wasted too much time here. Oh, come on! Come on now! Spicy like a pizza pie. You saw that, right? I got rings before my time was up. I mean, we got plenty of opportunities to do that again, but at the same time, I call foul. Can we get a ref on that, just to see? Ah, yes, and here we are on... It's funny, I've played Sonic 2 a fair few times as a kid. I always hated going through this section. And this walkway around here. Just hated the fact that you could easily just drop into the drink and drown. Because obviously back then I wasn't exactly good at the platforming. Alright, I guess we'll just have to find another. A load of barnacles. And some. Well, there goes Tails, just trapped in... I was gonna say trapped under there for the rest of the time, but then again, he is immortal. Yeah, he just shows up again. Dying means nothing to our foxy friend. I'm sure there's been so many jokes made about that, the fact that Tails just cannot die. Regardless of whatever brutal, violence you put him through. Whatever brutal deaths you subject him to, he always just gets back up afterwards. He's the fox who can never die. I will admit, between that and his flying powers, for a while that made me sort of think that Tails actually was a kitsune of sorts. I always take Tails and fly over that. That's fair. I can't exactly blame you for that. And here we are with, admittedly, one of my small gripes with Mania. The fact that it doesn't really have that many actually original... And this is definitely one of the more creative applications, but in terms of the actual level gimmicks, it tends to reuse a fair bit of it. I'm thinking maybe that's just the case here because that sound effect is from Wacky Workbench. I'm probably just thinking because of that, this level just takes influences a whole bunch and gimmicks and such from Wacky Workbench. Yeah. And again, it has been a while since I played CD, so I can't remember as to whether those high-speed pipes were also in Workbench. Wacky Workbench, but good. Yeah. Yeah. I will admit, main CD was never the Sonic game I tended to go back to. I never really gelled with that game's level design. I will say, though, in all seriousness, the actual vanilla music, not this cursed pizza roll nonsense. I mean, I guess some of these aren't too bad, but I think music-wise, T-Lopes is one of the best things to happen to the series since Crush 40, and obviously I kind of doubt that we'll get any Crush 40 in the near future because of the whole rights issue. Really is a shame just because of how synonymous Crush 40 has been with the Sonic series for me for the longest time. And now it's like T-Lopes is becoming the new Crush 40 in a way. If that makes sense. Can't remember if the ring is around here somewhere. I'm pretty sure it is. If I can get up there. Can't wait to hear the Mean Bean Machine theme. I was so happy to see Mean Bean Machine come back of all things, because going into this with all the stuff I'd heard about Mania, I knew there was just going to be a whole bunch of callbacks to a lot of the classic era of the series, though I do kind of wish the Chaotix were at the very least acknowledged. It's like the weirdest thing, just for some reason. Sega and Sonic Team just don't want to acknowledge Knuckles' Chaotix exists. I mean, I get the 32X wasn't exactly the hottest thing in town when it came out, but at the same time, I would have thought that surely it must have performed better than, say, Boom. It's not exactly a high bar, but it's something at the very least. I think this might be the special stage I had the least practice on, to be perfectly honest, at least at the original 7. There we go. Oh no. It was going so well. Coming at you. There we go. That was a little bit easier. Itsy color. But it's the wrong color of blue. It's royal blue, not cornflower blue. Flying Battery is also out of my heart because I played Sonic and I was on the Genesis at the age of 7. Yeah, I also have a lot of fond memories of Flying Battery and Mushroom Hell. Okay, just one more emerald we need to get, and I know where the next red ring is. Anyways, it's time for some mean beans. I was so happy to see this has actually come up, considering I grew up with Mega Collection. It was great. We can put those there. Be prepared to see some of the worst Mean Bean... I say that, some of the most mediocre Mean Bean Machine gameplay you've ever seen. Seriously. I feel, weirdly enough, this was the part of the game where I really started to fall in love with Mania, weirdly enough. Mostly just because of how much I... Why did I do that? That was the stupidest thing I could have done there. Yeah, put that there. I will admit I was never exactly the biggest expert when it came to Mean Bean Machine. So I'm not exactly doing the best in terms of my combo game here, unfortunately. Pizza freaking. Yeah, put that there, I think. I want to say we're getting somewhere, but we probably aren't. It's like I need a purple. Or, you know, I could just do this. Can I please get a purple? There we go. That wasn't as good as I was anticipating. Ugh. Pizza freaking. Yeah. It's been a while since I've seen the source material for all these Totinos videos. I just remember it being quite funny. And, kind of reminiscent with regards to its editing to Red Letter Media. At least that's, what I recall. Alright, time to get on to the best level of the game already. Dr. Mario POV. Lights, camera, action 52! Just trying to think where I want to go here. Not over here, not over here, thank you. What places to be first? I think they're... Pink bot. I will admit, personally, this is... I suppose I may as well just start by saying I was really happy seeing this level when it was first unveiled. It really just reminded me a lot of the artwork that you'd see in Sonic Gems collection. And that just sort of really brought a small smile to my face as someone who has a fair bit of decent knowledge with regards to the classic games, though still wondering where the chaotics are. Like, I'm sure people can comprehend that there's a classic and a modern chaotix, even if their backstories are a little bit different. This game is really good. It's like 80s, 90s style. Yeah, and that's honestly something that I've been thinking of with regards to the Sonic setting. I think I already mentioned this earlier, but I really feel that, at least if I were in charge, in creative charge of the Sonic series, I'd want to have it just sort of in this zesty Sonic. I mean, I'd want it to be more in this, I suppose, heavily stylized version of the 90s. It would actually be kind of a fun way of differentiating classic and modern Sonic, actually, where classic Sonic takes place is mostly based in the early 90s, and modern Sonic is based in the late 90s. With all the various bits of technology and music and architecture and stuff. Aesthetics. But you could just have... I suppose it would be kind of funny just to actually still seeing, like, the brick Nokia, in contrast to a lot of technology being made by Tails and Robotnik. Well, you know, just Tails just geeking out about the fact that of all the specs of the latest brick Nokia phone. All the latest Windows 98 computer. I will personally admit, I was never really intending to get into the Sonic creepypasta stuff. I know it's popular for some reason, but me personally, going into that sort of stuff was always a hard no for me. I feel it's a distinctly different thing from the rest of the Sonic series. Oh, see, I decided to disable the super music for this, which may have been a mistake. Mostly because I figured that we'd want to actually listen to the cursed music as opposed to just having the I mean, it's fine, just some variety would be nice. Speaking of which, here's our first hard-boiled hoovie. Time to completely trivialize this boss. Hey Tails, here's my best James Bond impression. Sonic, you just walked into a missile. Exactly. Can you tell what film I'm referencing, Tails? Sonic, it's 1997. The last Bond movie I'm pretty sure was Die Another Day, and I don't remember Pierce Brosnan walking into a missile. I remember him hang gliding over a whole bunch of CGI water that one time. That was kind of weird. Tails, you're no fun. I'm just trying to be lore accurate, Sonic. There's nothing lore accurate about your accent, Tails. Don't start with me on my accent, Sonic. But yeah, with regards to the Sonic creepypasta stuff, for the longest time, especially given the fan base it tends to accrue, it feels, at this point, wholly divorced from just standard Sonic stuff and is more just sort of its own beast, especially with the type of crowd it tends to attract to, in all likelihood, never tend to touch Sonic games unless they're in Roblox. Maybe the Minecraft crossover at a stretch. Oh, this track's particularly cursed. We need to get out of here real quick before my channel gets glassed. Can't help but feel I've been playing with fire with this particular stream with regards to the copyright claims. I can only hope that this entire oh hey, Undertale. Yeah, I'm mostly just hoping my channel doesn't get glassed due to copyright. How did Sonic EXE make a comeback? Friday Night Funkin'. I know that at the very least. He was like last I checked, we were perfectly content to leave Sonic EXE behind, and then he got revived by the Friday Night Funkin' community along with every single evil version of Sonic, technically. And I suppose it's nice that people are interested in the old Fleetway comics, but it's definitely for the wrong reasons. People are just there because, ooh, scary looking evil Super Sonic as opposed to anything else in there. I remember having so much trouble getting up to that particular ring. Bing bing. Yeah, these particular music tracks tend to sample a lot of other songs, which is usually the joke. I will admit this particular level is where I kind of feel a lot of the level design starts to go on a bit of autopilot for me, because most of the time I can just get through it by holding down on my control stick. Also, it probably doesn't help that I'm super for this, or zesty. So I can just completely bypass a lot of the level mechanics here. I do love this particular reference here, if you can hear it's over the music. In Mass Effect Act 2's theme. Yeah. Also that tone. That infamously was heard all throughout the live stream for the 25th anniversary celebration. Just that constant buzz. And they couldn't figure out how to get rid of it, as far as I'm aware. That's like the funniest thing they put into this game, I think. Oh boy, flying batteries back. It may be just me, but I can't help but feel that most people just remember Sonic 3 and Knuckles for the back half of its levels. You know, Lava Reef, Flying Battery, Mushroom Hill, Sky Sanctuary. You never hear anybody say, oh, Ice Cap. That one was great. Or, you know, Launch Base, oh. Chef's Kiss. Or Carnival. And I suppose Carnival Night is kind of fair. It's like, the more I think about it, I do kind of see why a lot of the levels from the Sonic 3 portion of 3 and Knuckles aren't exactly the most fondly remembered. Because you got Ice Cap, which had all those annoying, tight platforming segments. Then you had Launch Base with its... honestly, I kind of like Launch Base, but... I can see why people wouldn't say it's the most memorable, and I can see why Carnival Night is omitted for obvious reasons. It was gonna feel bad to me, though, because back when I played Mega Collection, for some reason I always thought that Sonic Knuckles was Sonic 4. I suppose, depending on who you ask, is kind of correct. More accurately, it's Sonic 3.5. I'd say. People were talking about Sonic 3 levels and Sonic Knuckles. Maybe it's just because I keep seeing all the Sonic and Knuckles levels being brought back and referenced in later material. Like, in this game, for instance, we got Flying Battery, we got Lava Reef. And a fair few references to Death Egg Zone as well between this and Forces. We got Mushroom Hill and Sky Sanctuary and Generations. Like, the only real representation that's all from Sonic 3 in recent years has been Hydrokaiti, as far as I'm aware. Of course, we gotta get a Nutshack in there as well. Something that I honestly don't want to remember, among a fair few other things. Love the silver rep. I think you might be the only one here. In chat, at least. There are definitely a few definitely good ones in here, but not sure whether this would be classified as one of them. And I suppose in terms of other Sonic Mania mods, I also had a lot of fun memories of the Miku Mania mod, mostly just because I liked a lot of the music in there. Which is weird, because I don't really tend to listen... I wouldn't really consider myself a Vocaloid fan. Alright, have fun, Denoise. Truly does feel like I'm back in 2016, 2017. What do you mean 8 years have already passed since 2017? Oh god, we gotta go! We gotta go! Lady Gaga herself is personally coming to my house with a spiked bat from the set of Joker 2. I will admit I am kind of curious as to how exactly she felt about Joker 2's reception. I mean, she probably doesn't care, she's got more money than God, but... It's like... the absolute just disaster area that Joker 2 was. You think at the very least part of it would be like, yeah, shoot, this probably isn't going to do much for my career, is it? Saw a mod which Chibi Miku was replacing Chip and... Yeah, I think I saw a little bit of that too, mostly just Whitehead just casually yeeting Miku over his shoulder. I was just like, that's amazing. I can't help but wonder just how much of Unleashed I'm gonna actually be going back and playing now it's on PC technically. Because I am definitely waiting for a few mods to get further developed, like obviously a retranslated mod, because I, for one, personally more a fan of the Japanese audio for most of the games. Honestly, I think it's mostly just because I prefer most of the voice cast to, especially the Studiopolis cast, I'll just say that much. Definitely prefer Kanemaru over Roger, to say the very least. I love all his fun English. I know that many people just cling to Sonic being an overtly American character because of how much English he does, but I think that's ultimately part of the charm, just not specifically the fact that he is American, but he's the Japanese perception of American, similar to Terry Bogard. Especially in the fact that both of them use overt amounts of English. It's kind of great. It sort of leads me to wonder if, I mean, I say wonder. I am fairly certain that Sonic and Terry Bogard would be good friends. Just a bunch of head-empty buddies just having a good time together, just punching stuff. Honestly, I feel it would be kind of interesting to see Sonic actually appear in King of Fighters now, just to see that work, but... And then again, I suppose we technically have Smash Bros. For that at the very least. It's gonna be interesting if... Because... Of course, with the switch to... Trying to remember the name, basically, we got the confirmation that there would be a new Smash game in the works, and honestly... After Ultimate, I'm kind of content for there to not be any more Smash games, if that makes sense. It's like, we got Ultimate, and I don't think, realistically, we can top that, instead of just turning it into Mugen and having every single character in the known universe partake in. It would be funny, though, because I remember this one funny video back in the sort of build-up for Brawl with the potential roster, and one of the supposed leaked roster members was Jesus. And I'm kind of wondering, are we going to get Jesus finally in Smash 6? Because that would be amazing. Hey, it's Omelette. I will admit, I kind of feel that Omelette as a character just sort of disappeared after a fair bit, being replaced obviously by all the other funny girl characters in the IDW comics, like the Athenian couple of Whisper and Tangle, or the absolute girl failure that is Surge. It's gonna be a little bit awkward here because I'm about to... Never mind. Well, that was, I always felt that was a lot easier than the actual Act 2 boss of Flying Battery. So they would remove characters after Ultimate and that would remove content. Yeah. Because obviously, I can only imagine that Ultimate was just a copyright nightmare to try and get everyone on board, and I can't really see them doing that more than once. If anything, I kind of imagine a Smash 6 being a more back-to-basics approach. Well, you know, them just doing a Mario Kart 8 and just having Smash Ultimate be the Super Smash Bros. Game for like a decade. Which I, for one, would be fine with. I'm not sure I want to know what this, this is sampling. The only Sonic game my sister has played. How did she find it? Because, funnily enough, I did watch a video earlier today talking about why exactly, general audiences don't seem to get into Sonic all that much, and from the sounds of it, at the very least from the conclusion the video comes to, the most well-received of the Sonic games was Frontiers, mostly just because of how conventional it seemed compared to most other games out there, which I'm still not entirely sold on the whole open zone thing. I kind of just feel that, a lot of the open zone facets kind of go against a lot of the core Sonic ideals, mainly replayability, because how many times do you replay an open world game realistically? I'm guessing not many times. And I, for one, would personally prefer to go back to a more linear level-by-level basis with a lot of games. Well, maybe that's just me. Told her it was on mobile and she plays on her phone. She's out of work. Oh yeah, there was a mobile port, wasn't there? I haven't really been keeping track admittedly. Was the mobile port any good? Or is it just another botch job? And I say that, the mobile ports on other Sonic games have, from what I've heard, been generally quite good. I just prefer to control using a touchscreen rather than I preferred using a controller to a touchscreen, that's what I meant to say. I got flubbed up there. Rolls, yes. We're collecting pizza rolls. Because this whole game and the stream of which it was debuted in was sponsored by Totinos Pizza Rolls. Complete the game instead of cutting in half and some of the other. I have to actually complete the game instead of cutting in half and some of the other. Yeah, pretty much. Though mostly I'm probably just thinking with regards to my thoughts on open world just because of Halo Infinite. Because I have no desire to go back and replay Halo Infinite's campaign. The multiplayer, maybe I'll be tempted from time to time, mostly just because I see other people play it occasionally, but that's sort of the funny thing to me with Halo Infinite's campaign, because oh, we get to do the funny thing here. We get to do the funny thing. We just gotta get this all the way to the end. That despite Halo Infinite being open world, I always thought that Combat Evolved had a grander sense of scale to it. Is he gonna do the thing? Yeah, there we go. Just moonwalk into the next level. And here we are with the fan favorite, Press Garden Act 2. I remember the Encore mode version of this looking lovely. And yeah. It is certainly the most pretty level in the entire game, and Honestly, another one of my favorites outside of Studiopolis. I forgot to mention, actually, about Press Garden Act 1. A lot of its traps and gimmicks and such pretty certain were just lifted straight from Launch Base. Like, obviously, you got the rotating tubes and such, which is like the main big one, and all the switches you have to destroy. Of course, we got a Snow Halation. It wouldn't be a Siiva rip without Snow Halation at some point. What am I doing? Well, this is awkward. Tails? Would you care to help a Hedgehog out? Put my sister into Color's Ultimate because it's free. My first reaction to that would say Color's Ultimate is a mistake. Just mostly because I've only realistically heard a lot about how bad the game was at launch. Like, with all the graphical glitches and such, it's like the colors feel so wrong. And we made jokes back in the day as like, the colors feel so bright, I'm having a seizure tonight, but with Color's Ultimate, that literally was the case, at the very least, last I remember. Love to walk through those snowy forests like that in the background. Yeah, so would I. I kind of feel when it comes to walks, generally I feel I kind of prefer forests and beaches, personally. Maybe it's just me being absolutely bitter about being dragged up mountains in my childhood. I just love how Supersonic's just sat there awkwardly like, well, guess I'm just stuck here then. This is my life now. This is my life now, Tails. Just trapped forever in an endless cycle. Watching myself bounce back and forth without making actually any progress. Is that supposed to be a metaphor for the franchise at the moment, Sonic? You said it, not me, Tails. Only bring back Tails because of the 2020 movies are kind of... Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I get that Colors was in need of an HD re-release more than Generations at the very least, but at the same time, the fans had to do it themselves with regards to Unleashed. And oh yeah, fun fact, a lot of the sound effects from Heavy Shinobi here are ported straight from Shinobi for the Sega Mega Genesis. I love how in this village you can hardly make out what the small animals are. Yeah. Oh, there's Metal Sonic. Implying Sonic 4 episode Metal hasn't happened yet, thankfully. And here we are in the sensual zone. About to get real sensual all up in here in a minute. Hey Tails, you want to Stardust my speedway? Sonic, what does that even mean? I have no idea. Also, Sonic, probably not. I have, like, how many girlfriends at this point? I mean, there was Fiona before she, before everything happened, and then Cosmo before everything happened, and there was Zoe, though, Jerry's still out on that, whether that's canon or not. Don't know what to say, Sonic. I guess I'm just... I guess girls just love the cute one. This is... I just find myself in all of these sorts of precarious situations. Which franchise games are better, Sonic or Dragon Ball? I mean... As far as I'm aware, Dragon Ball has a better track record, at the very least with regards to, Budokai, the Tenkaichi games. Like, the only really bad Dragon Ball games that really come to mind, maybe missing a fair few of them, is stuff like Ultimate Tenkaichi, really. Sonic, meanwhile, is definitely more of a mixed bag. Higher highs, lower lows sort of thing. It's just generally the same sort of relationship he has with Mario. Coincidentally, the same relationship Dragon Quest has with Final Fantasy. Where Dragon Quest is more consistently good, but Final Fantasy also has higher highs and lower lows. I'm about to run into this guy and die, aren't I? Wasn't sure as to whether Dead Channel actually had a proper name, or whether anything nefarious was going on. Here we are, anyways, here's the boss. Really seem to like these Firefly badniks. Mostly just remember them from the Sonic CD FMV. And they do definitely do cool things when they're combined together, just firing off all these lasers and such. Proof that Stardust Speedway's architecture is more sturdy than Flying Battery. I remember DBZ Sagas. Yeah, that's one game compared to, like, 06, Boom, Free Riders, Shadow the Hedgehog, Frontiers, Forces, Colors Ultimate. Generally, Sonic has had more bad games from my experience. The best remake is what I would want from new-gen Pokemon games. Yeah, I would too, but talking with some other affiliates of mine, I don't think most people are convinced that a fully sprite-based 2D HD game would sell as well as a fully 3D title, even though it would objectively be better. I guess people just turn up their nose at 2D graphics nowadays, which is kind of a shame. At least in terms of general audiences. I remember trying to speedrun this level being an absolute pain, so I'm just gonna go through it as best as I can. I swear, this level seems to change every time I go through it. Oh wait, I think there's a, yep. Finally, we actually found a ring. I will say though, we're definitely making some good some good leeway through this whole game. I was sort of expecting us to still be, a little ways back. Yeah, we're just comparing this to the Sonic 3 playthrough, where it's, Sonic 3 and Knuckles is definitely a longer game, at the very least, but not by too... Can I get in the thing, please? Thank you. There we go. Time to fight Metal! You've had this coming a long time, Metal! It's been generations since I've seen you. I don't know where I got that one from. Doesn't really make sense now that I think about it. Anyways, let's go, Metal! Let's go all I do kind of find it funny that that one sound clip from Stardust Speedway has just become a meme in of itself. I mean, granted, it's to do with it's usually associated with just bootleg Metal Sonic sprite, but still kind of find it funny. I think this is definitely one of my favorite tracks of this whole mod. Because of how many of the Metal Sonic themes it samples. Like, there's Look-alike, there was What I'm Made Of. There was the Sonic 4 theme. Like, it's all here. Yeah, I suppose it's one of those irrational things where you can't really quantify why it's funny, it just is. I did quite like this change from the original Mania, as opposed to just being chased by a wall of spikes like he's designed by Dr. Wily. Instead, we get discount Metal Sonic Kai, which kind of makes me wish we had got actual Metal Sonic Kai here. Just something referencing chaotix, please. You can't ignore the game forever. Alright, let's just grab the Phantom Ruby. Rude. How did you know? Find it funny how one bootleg push from Pat Max started becoming mean. I mean, it is just a, it is a funny looking bootleg plush. Oh, there's, teaser for the final boss by the looks of it, and here we are finally! Welcome back, everybody! It's Hedgehog again. Featuring Inspector Gadget by the sounds of it. This feels like the most radically different of the levels, at least from Sonic 3. It was just my experience, but honestly, I kind of like it. Sonic, please let me grab this ball. I'm about to drown. You can't drown, Tails. You're immortal. Still not any less harrowing, Sonic. You see how you feel having all your lungs filled with water and feeling the entire cold abyss of Davy Jones' locker closing around you before the entire world goes dark. You sound like you've been through this whole thing before, Tail. I have, Sonic. You've seen me die. Or at least, I think you've seen me die. I tend to black out after a fair bit. I don't really remember what happens afterwards. I just sort of fly in from off screen like. Even Goku can't beat. I suppose it would be kind of interesting to see how many pizza rolls Goku could get through. I mean, Goku doesn't really just seem to me like a particularly picky eater. So I could only guess with regards to how many pizza rolls could Goku eat. I'm pretty sure the answer is just yes. Just black hole of a stomach on that one. Hedgehog theme is my favorite. I mean, yeah, I also really quite like it. And then again, I quite like Hedgehog in general. Metal Sonic plush goes up to $100. I mean, you probably should have invested in it before it became a huge hit. Dagnabbit. That's the thing. You buy low and you sell high. It stonks. It's business. It's how you make profits, I'm pretty sure. In regards to this sort of insider... not insider trading thing. You get arrested for that. Just this general sort of, trading of collectibles and such, and stonks. Investments, that's it. I feel this is sort of another level that I can sort of play on autopilot, at the very least the second act, mostly just because of all the high speed section. I can just hold the B button down and not have to worry for a little bit. I do quite like the boats here, though. It's kind of cute. Yeah. That reminds me, I forgot to do... I'm not entirely certain as to whether the donkey reference is still in the game. Because I remember it was there at launch. You could eat demon alien foods and still munch down on... Yeah. I mean, granted... I don't really see pizza rolls being much to Goku's standard from a nutritional point of view, mostly because he's big on the protein. He's big on the massive comedic racks of ribs. Honestly, now I can't help but wonder what Goku would make of just the mile-high Scooby-Doo sandwiches. Hello, Vance. We were just talking about stuff Goku may or may not eat, which, granted, is a fairly short list on regards to the will not eat, I'm pretty sure. You know, assuming it's actually edible. I'll just put that out there, as long as it's edible, which... Let's not get into a whole debate here on what constitutes as edible, because I'd rather not. Just going by the more conventional descriptors of food. You can become... Maybe not your entire Sonic collection, your entire Pokemon collection, maybe. I don't really have much of a compulsion to do that, at the very least, with the Game Boy cartridges. Maybe Sapphire, for reasons, but honestly, I'm kind of fine with all the Pokemon games I currently have in my collection. Then again, I'm not entirely certain how many of you are actually interested in watching Pokemon stuff. There we go. I also quite like this boss when I first played. It's like, hey, I remember this boss from when I first played Hydrokaiti. With all the mines you were placing down. It's like, haha! Fun little twist on the formula. Which I suppose is the best we can the most we can really ask for. Also, you can just press down to drop bombs and defuse his mines. Somehow this sort of came naturally to me, alongside the barrels in Carnival Night. Certain infinites are larger than others. Shh. I mean, you say that, but it's... I personally wouldn't really say so, to be really honest with you. Because, like, it really just reminds me of the whole debate as to what's heavier, a kilogram of steel or a kilogram of feathers. Sonic, please, can we not go into this one this time? I've had people make that joke at my expense like 50 times already. No, Tails, it's fine. Just look, we're going somewhere with this time. Whereas, like, the kilogram of feathers is a higher mass than the kilogram of steel, but they're both a kilogram. They're the same weight. It's just... size doesn't really a factor with regards to infinites. Considering the fact that they are infinite would probably mean they take up the same amount of space regardless. Infinite now numbers between 1 and 2, infinite... There's twice between 1... I mean, technically speaking, but now that's just... This is the sort of quantum mechanic stuff that make brain go hurty. So... Tails, let's just see what's up here. Nothing. Okay. Again, a fair few of these sample references are probably gonna go a fair bit over my head. I will say, though, the background here I feel is especially nice looking. Shame there's none of the human statuettes here. Because otherwise that would contradict forces, which contradicts everything else. Alright, take care, Vance. I'd say we're still making some fairly good progress throughout this whole thing. It's gonna be quite awkward on the playback, just seeing just like 5 minutes of a black screen. But, we'll just make do. Sure, there's something salvageable from all this. I'm Totino, the pizza boy. Would you consider the Naruto run a Sonic run? I mean, admittedly, I'm gonna say it right now. I saw the Naruto run first from Sonic. Because, admittedly, I was sort of made averse to Naruto back in the day. It's just this one thing that annoying people got overly obsessed over with the weeaboo headbands and fake Japanese, which is and just spouting obnoxious gibberish. Mic spamming, caramel dancing, that sort of thing. Also, well, this is quite nice. That's what's listed on the forum. It's like, oh hey, we're actually going through... I'm just gonna say it, I definitely think I prefer this boss to the underwater boss from Superstars. Then again, that's not exactly a high bar. I prefer all the bosses in this to any of them in Superstars, even the original Metal Sonic fight. Because at the very least, it was short. In all seriousness, I don't think I ever want to go back and play Superstars ever again at this point. Just... that first stream I did of it, where the final boss just seemingly glitched out on me, as far as I'm aware. And all the pain and suffering I had to go through with the other final bosses, the Fang Mech and, the Egg... what are we gonna call it? Because it's not a Death Egg Robot. I mean, it technically is, but... a Death Egg Ronin? I'm gonna call it the Death Egg Ronin, because of its more samurai appearance. How long and how frustrating those were to get through just really turned me off ever playing Superstars again. Especially since we have Mania, which is just a grand showcase in how to do everything better. Aside from this, Mirage Saloon Act 1, it's like, oh boy, it's time, remember the worst level in Sonic 2, Sky Chase? Here it is again. I can't help but feel, really, that, this is, like, the one sort of, blemish on this game. And it's not the worst thing, but at the same time, I really didn't care for the flying segment in Sonic 2 either. You can sort of, tell with the fact that they never brought it back for Sonic 3. And then never brought it back for Encore Mode either. I kind of find it funny that they just have the exact same badniks from Sky Chase here as well. Except with slightly different theming in that these guys have a cactus pattern on them. It's all the same bagnet still. It's just Sky Chase again, but there's sand everywhere. It kind of reminds me of Forces in that regard. At the very least, fairly soon you can't spin off the plane and die, like you could in Sonic 2. At least I certainly hope you don't. I remember, like, from the comics and various animations and such, just seeing Sonic surfing on those, like, turtle badniks at super high speeds, and it's just... that really isn't the case here. Things that holds people back is watching Naruto is... oh yeah, I'm well aware of the Naruto filler. In fact, I'm fairly certain I've said at one point to, someone of the race... okay, that's kinda cute. He's just an old man playing with his trains. Nailed it. But yeah, I have been on... I think I've gone on record of saying that I'd be more willing to try out Naruto if there was basically a Naruto Kai, which just cut out all the filler and just added the stuff kept the stuff that was actually in the manga. Then again, there's a fair few anime I kind of feel that I have to go and sit through. Because I still got Girls and Panzer on my shelf. Yep, that same old problem with the plane segments. You can't have any fun. Alright, let's try this again, Penfold. I definitely do think I prefer the Encore mode version of this, but, I mean, I say that. This isn't, absolutely unbearable. Nothing in this game is unbearable. It's great. This is the mark of a great game. Nothing in it is actually bad. Just, some stuff is not exactly my cup of tea. Or in my case tonight, coffee. Alright, where are you gonna pop up next, fella? It's still going!
Start the music right.
I'm not sure what it is recently, just, Sonic games and giant worms, because obviously there was the giant worms which appeared in both Lost World and exactly one level in Forces. The exact same worms from Lost World, which doesn't really make much sense. I guess Asuka was just, going through a phase. Weirdly enough, as far as I'm aware, there was no Worm Titan in, oh boy, it's Bean! They actually remembered the hooligans from Sonic T Fighters exist. I was so happy to see these guys again as well. It's like, I remember these guys from Sonic the Fighters. And it's like they're finally back in a game after being mentioned only slightly in, Generations Easter eggs. Anyways, here's the good act of, Mirage Saloon, that was it. From all the publicity footage back in the day, the level this reminded me most of was the unused Sand Hill from Sonic 2, but nowadays, given all the level gimmicks, it really feels as though they took a lot of stuff from Collision Chaos. That was the one. Mostly just these things that you bounce off of, which make the same sound effects. And I'm fairly certain Collision Chaos has what pinball mechanics in it as well. At the very least, it does a fair bit to distinguish itself with a lot of the, those fun sand loops, the guns, and of course the funny piano bumpers you bounce off of, straight from Music Plant. I feel bad when Optu shipped it and... Nor to feel bad when shipped it and Boruto exist. I mean, to be fair, at the very least you know for a fact when you're listening to filler, or watching filler, just from the music alone. It's like, you hear that, and it's just like, oh, you can just skip this. Anyways, it's time to fight Team Hooligan, who I'm fairly certain were originally planned to be in Heroes, but had to get cut. Oh boy, it's Fang. I'm definitely looking forward to your boss fight in Superstars. That totally wasn't the worst thing I've ever done in a Sonic game. Superstars is great, everything came out. Superstars. They even include the, like, losing ring sound, taking damage sound effect from the Game Gear games as well. It's great. Just all these small little nods that only a fan would appreciate, and it's still great. It's like not intrusive in any way, unlike Flynn's writing. It's like G-Tails just reminds me of the time we fought Thang in Sonic Triple Trouble for the Nintendo Game Gear. Anyways, here's Oil Ocean for some reason. So I'm guessing that Mirage Saloon is also on West Side Island. This was a bit of a hot topic back when this game first came out. The location of a lot of the where the game is actually taking place, because obviously you start off in Angel Island. You get this is a little fun. Love that little detail. You start off in Angel Island, get warped to South Island with Green Hill Zone, then get warped to West Side Island, where I guess Studiopolis also is. Then you end up in Press Garden, which isn't really clear on where it is. Then you get warped back to Little Planet, then just somehow end up on, then just get warped to Angel Island, then I guess fly all the way back to West Side Island for some reason. One spark to burn the whole thing down. I am the spark which will ignite the fire which will burn down your Christmas tree. What sort of... What sort of treachery will you resort to in order to contain me? Arrest me like your predecessor once did? None of you probably know what that's from, but it's just been living rent-free in my head, just... Text-to-speech Grinch threatening to burn down a Christmas tree in July. Sonic Mania was a wonderful experience with the references. Yeah! Mostly because a lot of them was subtle and, not heavy-handed at all. Ian. Honestly, I kind of dread to imagine what a classic Sonic game written by Ian would look like. I mean, granted, classic Sonic games don't really tend to focus on story, but it's the first time for everything, I say. I did find this guy quite charming. It's just funny-looking engineer bot. Literally machines made to fix machines. Anyways, it's time to set this whole place on fire. Ever wonder what the true Sonic 4 is? I mean, obviously depends on who you ask. I'd probably say Sonic Adventure. Miss Dark Sonic, I think I already mentioned this slightly during the Unleashed playthrough with the Werehog. Given the Werehog is supposedly Sonic just corrupted with Dark Gaia's energy, I think technically that's the closest we're likely ever going to get to a Dark Sonic, or there at least was for the longest time. Alongside Darkspine, of course. Obviously, the main gimmick here is just the sand. It's just the time switches from Sandopolis again, except this is much better than Sandopolis. Because you're not constantly being hounded by ghosts. This particular mechanic, even if it is the same principle, a lot more forgiving with how it's implemented, where it just drains your rings as opposed to just having the ghosts fly towards you and then jump scare you to death. Now I can't do anything but sing this stupid song. That just reminds me of, this, like, ancient, Sonic song parody. Will the real Eggman please stand up? You're like you've never seen a round guy before. I'm not gonna try and, replicate the lyrics, because I don't remember them in the slightest. Mania and Superstars are just Sukiyum. gotta blow away the ash. No, it's... I'm fairly certain there's no, ash here. It's mostly just toxic fumes from all this, burning oil. And now we get the, first real interesting implementation of a new gimmick in this game. The oil submarines. Who can somehow survive being submerged in burning oil. I never really got that. The real Egg Shady. Pretty much. They're really just... I don't know, something about those subs really just sort of clicks me. That really feels like something that would have been in an older Sonic game. Like, whether it be, honestly, it kind of reminds me of Triple Trouble for some reason. Or Sonic Chaos. The whole place being burnt down. The whole place burnt down, whatever the PC goes. Hey, don't knock me, I can't remember last week. Must just remember this week, and, having to pick bones out of my teeth from eating fish. Okay, finally at the end of this one. We're starting to come up to the home stretch by the looks of it. I do like that little fake out there, admittedly. It's like, oh, it's just gonna be the same Oil Ocean boss again, except, surprise, big octopus. It's like the giant squid from Watchmen, except not really. Burn! Well, that's nice. They actually changed it to be on a submarine. At least that wasn't the case in the original version. New gimmick. Oh, it actually is from Chaotix. Finally, we got something from Chaotix. Remember Sonic 2 on the Game Gear? I mostly remember the minecarts. Behold, flying submarine for some reason, and somehow it takes us all the way from West Side Island to the very depths of Angel Island. I don't really get it either. I get that you're not really supposed to think about it all that much, but for the longest time that really was me trying to figure out how exactly everything fits into canon, or whether anything really fit into canon past Adventure 2 because of the whole moon thing, but guess that's just me, still, even if I've accepted the way things are and that canon is more of a loose thing, what happened there? Doesn't change the fact that I can still poke fun at it. I really do like the sprite work on that, spike ball. That actually sort of looks like it's 3D. Blue rings up from Chaotix too. Yeah, I know that at the very least. I don't know, for some reason, despite all the hard times I had from, Sonic 3 and Knuckles back in the day, and sort of nowadays as well, I always had a soft spot for Lava Reef. Maybe it's just the music, or just the general, I suppose, atmosphere of the level. Especially Act 2. There's something about it always feels really nostalgic for me. Maybe it's just because of how much I've seen it in the instruction manuals. Who knows? All it does matter, though, is that I'm here playing through it. Finally. Or it is this way. Fairly certain there's a ring in here. Spring? Alright, he's supposed to, go up through another passage, right. gotta wonder exactly why Knuckles approves of those things still being on his island. I'm not sure I already mentioned this when going for Angel Island Revisited back in the day, but you gotta wonder just where exactly Knuckles drew the line with regards to Eggman's, or Robotnik rather's, little additions to his island. Like, was he really okay with Carnival Nights? Was he really okay with all the... And I suppose he wouldn't mind all these traps on the way to the Master Emerald. Except the fact that he doesn't keep the Master Emerald in Hidden Palace anymore for some reason. I mean, even if people know where Hidden Palace is, it's still better to have a place people know where it is being guarded by all sorts of dangerous death traps, rather than just having it out in the open like it is an adventure. I get why, at the very least, they did that for the sake of just the adventure field, but at the same time, I still think after a point that Knuckles would have been better just moving it back to Hidden Palace. The fact that he still keeps it on the Adventure 1 altar all the way up until the 1 Frontier special. I don't know, something about that just doesn't sort of click with me when you actually think about it. It's like, when first seeing it, it's like, oh cool, it's the same altar from Adventure 1. When you really stop and think about it, it's like, the one which actually doesn't make sense lore-wise. Why would lava cave in where... At the very least, you have to put a fair bit of effort in actually to get to the Master Emerald here. Maybe that's one of those things. I don't want to say I'm making an video, just having some thoughts about how about my personal preferences for what I'd personally like to see in the Sonic series, aside from, you know, the whole 90s aesthetic, which I mentioned earlier. I think generally just putting the Master Emerald back in Hidden Palace seems like a no-brainer. Ice cap change look. I mean, technically the ice cap in Adventure 1 is more or less the same as the one in Free and Knuckles, considering they're both taking place on Angel Island. Sure, the layout is different, but it's technically the same place as far as I'm aware. Ah yes, Lava Reef Act 2. In other words, Quartz Quadrant. I guess just because the original Act 2 is all full of crystal, I suppose. And this is definitely one of my favorite looking levels in not only this game, but I think all of classic Sonic in general. This is just one of my favorite looking levels, alongside Press Garden, Studiopolis. It really is just genuinely quite pretty. I'm sure I don't need that ring up there. Sage just keeps changing the cannon like Tekken. I mean, I think I've already mentioned this before, that technically speaking, Sonic has more of a very loose canon to it, where stuff does happen that it's not sort of a super strict timetable. I don't know what I was trying to do there. Oh boy, it's a reference to the best Sonic level in existence, Marble Zone. Just sitting around on rocks waiting to pass over lava. My favorite. I mean, saying that, it has been a long time since I played Sonic 1. I feel I only really tend to frequent a handful of Sonic games nowadays. Unleashed possibly becoming one of them now that it's on PC. Well, I mean, this is definitely some nice guitar here. Not to get out to Netflix and then remove that Sonic 2. Really? They just straight up removed Sonic 1 and added Sonic 2. Admittedly, I don't really keep up to date with a lot of stuff. policies on Netflix, but that really does seem quite odd to me. Like, why would they do that? Sure, you just want to keep the most popular stuff on there, regardless. Ultimate time. Yes, yes, I'm aware of the whole, Furry question mark of, Robotnik killing Tails at the end of Sonic 2, which... I'm not entirely certain as to whether that was actually the intention, but I guess, that's what popular opinion / public opinion thinks nowadays, just like the fact that that one train that died in a tunnel in Thomas the Tank Engine, even though he got let out the next episode. Oh, this segment, I figured this one was fairly fun. Yeah, yeah. Just casually walking across lava. Stomping everything in your way. That's what really makes a good game, being able to just stomp everything out of your way. Like Rayman 3. Oh, you can see, I think that's supposed to be the Death Egg, or actually from the texture that would be Little Planet, wouldn't it? We're getting closer at the very least. Most interesting stream service considering only one season of some... Ah. I think that might have also been the case with the Pokemon series, because it only went up to Season 1, as far as I'm aware, when the Pokemon anime was on there. Oh, is Knuckles gonna be up here to kick me down? No. Alright, let's get up here. Well, Tails, it's nice to actually get up here without being punted by a rock. Ever played Angel Island Revisited? Yes, I did. I streamed it on the channel a while back. Oh, this one. Watch out! I'm pretty certain I have the least experience with this particular boss, so you may have to bear with me. Thankfully, I have the insta-shield, or the double spin attack, technically, so you haven't got a prayer. Get over here and say that again to my face. I'm just kind of vibing to the music, in all honesty. We'll certainly admit, quite a zany gimmick with this one, just leaping over fire constantly. Ow. I have one ring. You cannot hurt me. Yeah, I'm not entirely certain as to whether the double spin attack does give you iframes here, but certainly feels like it. Check the mods, a handful of them. Yay! Finally time for the penultimate level. Okay, that's pretty cool. Lights up like a Christmas tree. Good old metallic madness. I suppose there's kind of an interesting detail with regards to the level selection here. You got one level from Sonic 1, got two levels from Sonic 2, with Chemical Plant and Oil Ocean. You got 3 from S3K, with Flying Battery, Hydrokite, and Lava Reef. And you also get 2 from CD with Stardust Speedway and Metallic Madness. The 2 levels people actually remember. And And technically speaking, the Mania does have 4 unique levels to it, so guess that was their logic of evening out, I suppose. I will admit, in terms of the level design here, this definitely feels the most unconventional. Well, of course it feels unconventional, it's from Sonic CD. Have I checked Mecha Mark 1? I don't think I have, actually. It's been a while since I played Angel Island Revisited. Yep, we're pumping up the jam. I ain't afraid of no Oh, the rings disappear here, God. Technically speaking, they do. They just don't have a sprite back here. Except technically, they do. It's weird. Raise a Fig Kid Goku versus Classic Sonic is a close one. Honestly, I would have thought that Kid Goku would easily trounce that one, considering he was already moving faster than could be perceived against Krillin back in, like, the 21st Tenkaichi Budokai. I think it was the 21st, could have been the 20th. I just remember him fighting Krillin at one point, and moving so fast Krillin and no one in the audience could see him. And then you get to Goku vs. Cell, where nobody can see them fight. It actually leads me on to a interesting quandary from a server I'm in. Mostly questioning as to whether, I suppose rather, how exactly you do combat in Sonic, and honestly speaking, my personal answer is you don't. People just tend to want to have combat in Sonic games because of the similarities to Dragon Ball, as far as I'm aware. I mean, could be a little bit wrong about that, but that's just my take on it. OG Dragon Ball has better pacing than Z, and I mean, yeah. Really feels as though people tend to not really pay all that much attention to original Dragon Ball, which is kind of a shame because I remember having a lot of fond memories of it. Particularly the blue water opening for it. Oh. Oh boy, it's the final boss from Sonic 1. It's just the final boss from Sonic 1. Isn't this so memorable and quirky? Sonic and CD can travel through time. I mean, he still needs the signpost from Little Planet in order to do it. So I'm not entirely certain that should count. Look at me here, debating power scaling on this channel. Couldn't be me. I will admit this particular fight is a little bit stress-inducing. A little bit. Poor Tails. Oh no! I've run out of rings. There we go. Your little pitch mode technique there didn't work, Robotnik. Try doing that for every single boss from now on. Ha ha ha. Oh yeah, that's right. Sonic would still have access to Super in that case. Eh. I mean, it's not exactly a fair comparison considering Super Sonic is, by all intents and purposes, invincible, so death on touch. But at the same time, just like that one death battle from yonks ago with Shadow and Vegeta, one of the few ones I remember watching, all he really has to do is wait out the clock. There's more snow halation. I just sort of love how the whole Totinos thing has just become a background element at this point. Honestly, this may, I've been thinking a little bit, actually. just as an excuse to talk about Halo stuff, just streaming Cursed Halo, just as an excuse, because at the very least Cursed Halo is one of the aspects of Halo that people still gravitate towards from my experience. Just to see the chaos. I would bring Lizzie Kai became a thing because it wasn't for watching because it would be a mess with it. Yep, from what I recall, had the same issue with as Naruto did, but at the same time there was some bits of filler that I kind of liked in, at least remember liking from various clips I remember watching on YouTube back in the day. Like the whole thing where Goku just bumps into Mercenary Tao in the just 10-day wait till the Cell games. Sonic the Fighters is most common as Sonic. I mean, technically, yeah, and even then it's more just sort of overt cartoony violence where the faces get flattened like they're in a Tom and Jerry cartoon. I mean, it's definitely great. I have a lot of fond memories of just how silly a lot of Sonic the Fighters got. It just sort of goes to show that expectations with regards to combat are, at the very least, a little bit different with regards to Dragon Ball. We got this, mostly martial arts focused anime, or there at least was, with going up against all these goofy cartoon animals that, do this on a regular basis. Honestly, just seeing them try to replicate that in Forces felt so cursed. Perfect Cell's basically born from interference with Oroku's work. I mean, yeah, I remember, because originally, as far as I'm aware, with the Android saga, the main villains were supposed to be androids 20 and 21. 19 and 20, sorry. Android 21 wasn't until Sonic the Fighters. I'm getting mixed up. Fighter Z, that was the one. Let's fight this gotcha boss. You gotta admit, this is definitely a, this was definitely a cute one. And the only inclusion of Amy in the entire game. Funnily enough, just feels kind of weird in hindsight they never went back and added Amy after all her inclusions in Origins. I'm about to... I could see my life flashing before my eyes there. It is kind of cute how we just have miniatures of the Marble Zone and Emerald Hill bosses. Like one of the only little bits of Sonic 2 representation in this game. Get out of here, Robotnik. It's getting late, I'm fumbling over my words.
Totinos, Totinos, how did you know?
Here we go. Even includes the little touch of Tails being afraid of lightning. It's great. That looks suitably menacing. Honestly, kind of reminds me of Bowser Jr. and the Yoshi's Island boss. You know, that one. When it's combat in Sonic when you have the comics. Oh, we actually get proper lyrics this time. One scene from Zero where I think someone forgot that Gohan had his neck snapped at 5. Oh yeah. He just got straight up murderated by Raccoon. I remember that. Oh, what's that, Gohan? You had your neck snapped? No, just have this magic bean. You'll feel better in instantly. It's just one of those things about Dragon Ball Z, really, where it just feels like they add all this extra stuff which just removes any form of tension for the longest time. Like, oh, what's that? Your character's mortally wounded? Give him a sensu bean. They're back up instantly. Oh, what's that? The planet's about to be destroyed and millions are dead? Just wish him back with the Dragon Balls. It's fine. Just... You actually get a proper vocal rendition of the Totinos theme. You can tell we're getting to the end. Let's just keep going. It really just gives me the sense, really, that Dragon Ball was the anime slash manga, which wasn't really suited for high stakes. Like, the highest I feel it realistically got in, at the very least, the original Dragon Ball was King Piccolo, mostly just because someone else was trying to go after the Dragon Balls. I suppose in that sense there was also you also have Frieza for that. Just you can really sort of tell there's a reason why Frieza's like the most memorable of the main villains from Dragon Ball Z. Dang it. Eggman can go super if he wants. I mean, yeah. If you really want to count, I'm trying to remember which one it was. I remember there was at very least one fan game that did that. I think it was Fallen Star. I think it might have been Fallen Star. Either before or after the sequel, I think. I remember... I do remember at the very least, I think it was after the sequel where you had the Super Eggman fight where you just had the golden mustache. It's been a little bit. Yeah, of course. It really feels as though the whole Totinos aspect of this whole stream has sort of been lost on people. I shall have to amend that once I'm done here. No matter, we're nearly done. I would say this is probably the most original level so far, but not really. Like, these things are from Def Egg Zone, and most of the obstacles here with the energy spheres and the bumpers are just ported straight from the Sonic 3 special stages, which I suppose at the very least is a unique way of implementing these. And I can't help but feel this game was partially responsible for me to pretty much nailing the, these particular Sonic 3 special stages from here on out, just because of all the practice I got done here. Get out of here, you. This feels a lot more precarious with Super Form, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. Nailed it. Didn't nail it. There we go. Okay, we're good, at least for 34 seconds. Oh hey, it's the Red Eye from Def Egg Zone. Remember Def Egg Zone? It's like the only other level that exists in Sonic, according to Forces. That's in Seaside Hill, apparently. Which is just modern Green Hill. We're super Oh, we're still on this, are we? Pretty certain Pseudo Super is like, the Lord Slug movie. At least that's the one I remember. The pizza guy is Totino the Pizza Boy. He's the true ultimate life form. Well, here we are. Final level. Not a moment too soon. Yeah, I kind of did expect this to go over a little bit, just purely based on the fact that Angel Island Revisited went a little bit over my usual time limit, but at the same time... Yeah, let's go this way. That 5 minutes at the start with me trying to figure stuff out probably didn't help. Let's go down here. And finally we can be out of this meme hell at least for a week before I, Well... I thought there was secrets out there. There weren't. Nailed it. Nailed it. Nailed it. Not really. Apparently has playsets that are a target. Interesting. I need to stop drop dashing there. That ought to help. Up here, I think. So, Titanic Monarch. Admittedly, I kind of feel that... At the very least, I do kind of like the more, cathedral-like atmosphere here. I will admit this level didn't exactly click with me like, say, Death Egg did. When I say that, I definitely say this has the better level design. Even though for most of it you can just hold down the, hold down on the D-pad again. Let's go this way, actually. Where are you leading me, game? Nice little bonuses. The rest, Green Hill and some Sonic Free... Of course Green Hill would have to be there. At this point, it just sort of feels obligated at this point. Which... I suppose on the subject of Green Hill, slightly related. I can't help but feel that a lot of the elements in Sonic Prime are just... a lot of the stuff that I really don't like about current-day Sonic. The obsession with Green Hill, the obnoxious catchphrases, the questionable writing and characterization, it's all there. And you had, at the very least, some sort of interesting premise. Like, when I heard that Prime was going to be a multiverse story, my initial thoughts were going to be, oh, we're going to get like a Sonic Spider-Verse, where we can find all these different, like, versions of Sonic from all these different interpretations, like X or SAT-AM, AOSTH, Fleetway. And instead we just got Pirate World, Caveman World. New York at the very least was the most interesting at the very least, and that is just SAT-AM again. At the same time, it's something we've already seen before, except arguably better. Not Diva's holding a fancy... You better be. That better be while you're typing with one hand. You're lucky I'm focused on the game. We're very nearly done. We just got, one more of these barriers to break through, I think. Japanese was quite interesting considering Sonic says a naughty one tail goes at full Evangelion mode in the fun. Really? I will admit I haven't really seen the Japanese version of Prime. I'm expecting at the very least it's a little bit more tolerable considering at the very least I'm fairly certain the Japanese version of Sonic doesn't say gotta go fast. If that were the case, I would probably have to hang up my, promotional Sonic cap for good. Hypothetically speaking, at least. Let's kind of weird though, thinking about it. It may just be me considering what my thought from yesterday when playing Emerald Legacy. I kind of feel content with all the Sonic stuff we have at this point. In fact, if they were to just call it a day after movie 4, in both movies, games, and such, and just all we had was just all the stuff that had been left to us, like the comics and the already existing games and such, I would personally be fine with that. Maybe it's just me knowing that a lot of stuff being released nowadays is generally worse than what came out in the past, but at least that's just my 2 cents. That's how I've been feeling for a long time now. Of course, we gotta get a Flintstones in at the end. Four kids censored the death of Cop. What didn't they censor? Really? Alright. Unfortunately, we aren't gonna have super form for the final boss, but in we go anyway. Hello, Robotnik. Nice to see you've been investing in some interior decor. This was a lot more pleasant than our time on the Death Egg. A lot more warmer, at the very least. Ow. Okay. I thought it crashed there. Well, I'm devoid of rings. This is kind of an oddball of a boss, and the fact that it gets easier the sooner it goes on. Which hedgehog would you choose to befriend? Probably one I find in my back garden. We don't really tend to get many hedgehogs in the back garden. We've seen a couple of foxes, but it's mostly squirrels. And pigeons. Because of course pigeons show up. Okay, that's a little bit better. And since so much of the first and second season of the Sonic saying a naughty word. I mean, yeah. I suppose it doesn't really change the fact that a lot of, I never really got this with the hard-boiled heavies in this fight, and the fact that you don't really have to hit them at all. Just really gotta wait them out until you can go back to the main fight. Never really got that, to be brutally honest. Alright. End of the road, Robotnik. Ow. Okie doke. Final phase. Oh, I'm a Torito Sonic. Oh yeah, a magician did show up here. And yet, somehow survived this whole bloody affair. Yeah, that was kind of weird in all honesty. The fact that the magician just survives this whole affair just to, ensure Encore mode happens. Which... I've been sort of wondering where exactly timeline-wise Encore mode happens, because you could very easily just say Encore mode happens immediately after the events here, but at the same time, you gotta link it to forces. So is it just that Mania Adventures and Encore mode are just branching timelines, or is it another thing you're not supposed to think about too much? Never learned having a Sonic X, I'm pretty sure no one knew about it. I knew about it. Of course I knew about it. Anyways, final boss time. Let's do this. There's pizza rolls flying everywhere. Honestly, this fight feels so good compared to Black Dragon. It's like there's actually rings that I can grab. And I can actually have multiple openings to attack the boss. Plural. I'm kind of curious to see if this particular song samples Fist Bump at all, because I'm fairly certain the original does. This is actually like one of the smartest designs Robotnik has had, just having all these big stumps to try and keep Sonic away from him. Also love the fact here that the timer just is absolutely scrambled. Not that it matters. Just a fun little detail that I thought was kind of cool. Let me in! I'm gonna have to sit down here and grab some more pizza rolls. I'm getting a little hungry. I said an uncut dub and it would have been yeah. I mean, I suppose there's been many fan-made uncut dubs over the years, but well, guess we're gonna be here for a little bit. Fortunately, I don't have to worry about lives. It's those big arms from Timu. Yeah, it looks like he's just had to bandage them up together on short notice. Pizza rolls flying is the best thing about this Sonic fight. I mean, I'm not gonna confirm or deny. Also, isn't Mia's super dash kind of useless here? If you could, I find it easy for the most part to just navigate around by flying normally. It just chews through your rings fast, or should I say, chews through your pizza rolls super fast. I feel it would have been nice to have more of a definitive showcase of Heavy King and Robotnik fighting over the Ruby here, like having them attack each other, as opposed to just alternating, because it feels more like a tag team up in my eyes. Of course, Robotnik is the least threatening here. Really, the Heavy King here is just the main threat, because he can actually damage you. Like, nice how the rolls also magnetize you a little bit. Kind of annoying that his shield up there just constantly regenerates super quickly. I'm hoping this is another last hit, because I am running on fumes in more ways than one. You can tell it's been a while since I've played this fight. Okay. I feel we're getting close. Or are we? Dang it! Andrew was made robotic. How did he make some of that powerful of his own will? I'm fairly certain, honestly, the Phantom Ruby lore has just been a whole bunch of scrambled contradictions when it was originally supposed to be the Voltron. Kirby Final Bot? Yeah. I can definitely see the resemblance. Let's try this again, Penfold. There we go. Really feels like I gotta brute force that. Maybe that's the strategy. Just brute force the shield. It seems to work alright. Ow. Kind of a shame, really, because I was hoping this would be a sort of a one-and-done thing. Maybe that's the key. You just got to draw him down to the ground when he's nearing the end of one of his cycles. He's consuming the pizza rolls. Yes. Okay, just got to stay on the ground for him, I think. Seems to make things a little bit easier. Yeah. I think you just gotta stay on the ground. So that makes the whole point of flying moot, but oh well. I think at the very least I'm doing better for rings. How long does this fight go on for, though? I don't want another repeat of Superstars, please. Okay, King is dead. Long live the King. And now for you, Robotnik. You're the easier of the two. I'll be taking that. Yoink. Oh no, what did I just do? I do certainly wish Tails was here at times like these. Well, another day at the office. Oh hey Knuckles, when did you get here? I've always been here, Tails. I was just bravely watching you die from the sidelines. Same as always, Knuckles. Hey! There goes Little Planet again, exploding or something. Or just warping into its another dimension. What is Sonic, by the way? Together! Egg Reverie was supposed to have a stage? Yeah. I remember that at the very least. It was supposed to be a stage before. It really does feel like a lot of stuff, especially at the end here, got cut down for time. Or resources, because obviously this only really made it out because of Izuka stepping in and being like, give him the go-ahead to SEGA. It really feels like he's just spending most of his time begging and pleading with them. Please, just give us more time to make the games good so they're actually profitable and not a complete embarrassment. Because that was obviously the case with Frontiers. See you in Sonic Forces? No thank you. I have no desire to play Sonic Forces unless there is outrageous demand for it. And even then, probably not gonna have a good time with it. There we go, the Sonic Mania credits. Admittedly, I wasn't sure what to make of this when I first played it, especially compared to Free K. I think mostly because of how rushed the original Mania was before its update with the Plus update, which definitely makes it feel a lot more complete. But it was a game at the time I would have said definitely put its best foot forward. Really just led with the best stuff and just sort of started petering off towards the end. Play the Kirby mod for Forces. I don't think I've actually seen that one. Liked it, but found the replayability factor very low compared to the originals. Yeah, that's also fair. That's also fair. It feels as though, especially with how easy the Chaos Summons are to get in this game compared to the originals, that's there isn't really as much of a impetus to replay. Then again, I know a lot of people tend to stick to Encore mode, which probably won't be for a while, admittedly, and it's probably going to be a more vanilla experience compared to this absolute, meme hell we just tread through. I mean, I say that, it just feels as though the, haha funny meme factor just sort of disappeared near the end as well. Mania is the X4 of Sonic played safe. I'd say for the most part that seems accurate. Though obviously the conditions of which both games were made were likely vastly different. Hey, there's the Totinos theme finally. The full thing. We're all winners thanks to Totinos pizza rolls. Sonic, did you just do... Sonic, was this whole stream supposed to be like one big sponsor? Tails, we're not big enough to have sponsors yet. But yes. Feel free to email me on this website and I'll send you a pizza roll in the mail. Sonic, we already did that joke. I know, Tails, I'm doing it again. It's the Sega way, always reusing old material. I hate the fact that you're right, Sonic. I need a drink. Tails, aren't you like 8? Our ages don't matter anymore, Sonic. Besides, no one can technically define what age I'm supposed to be. I'm a 6, I'm a 8, I'm a 10, I'm a 12. Nobody knows at this point, Sonic. And the internet doesn't really care as far as I know. What makes you say that, Tails? Let's have a look at the internet. No! We already went over this, Sonic. We're not allowing you on the internet anymore. It's practically a minefield. Didn't actually expect these credits to be going on for so long. I'm just thinking with the abstract shapes here, a lot of these sort of remind me of the boost rings from the advanced games, which reminds me, I was wondering at some point whether I wanted to do the advanced games, because I did, for the first time at the very least, try out Advanced 2 SP, which is a quality of life ROM hack for Advanced 2, and I've been having a good time with it at the very least. Granted, it's the first time I've actually been able to access the special stages in Advanced 2, but I'll have to play a little bit more of it, I think. As for this, well, it's Sonic Mania, so obviously I was going to have a good time with it. Whoa. You know what? I think I'm just gonna let this play out, and I'll see you next time for whatever we're doing next. Knuckles and Knuckles Mania, that was it. And then Chronicles. So until then, thank you for tuning in to whatever this is. I need to head to bed soon, so take care. Bye bye.